The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Good evening, Pinecase community. It is Pinecase Podcast, the podcast where music is our drug of choice. It is a fine Wednesday evening, which I'm not used to saying because usually it's a Tuesday, but we survived the blizzard and we got everything plugged back in. The heat is on and the stove is going and the kids are fed and warm. So we have the beautiful Silvia Ross from Vancouver Island to come and hang out with us this evening and talk about all the wonderful things that you do with sound and sound bowls. And I'm actually very excited to navigate this process with you because it's not something that I'm super familiar with, although we talk about it all the time over here. But yeah, I'm a massive Pinecase. Warm welcome to our platform. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. So take us back a little bit to the very beginning. I mean, you've been everywhere, right? You're from the States. You were in Argentina. We just talked a little bit about different places in Canada that aren't as gorgeous as Vancouver Island. And so I would imagine somewhere on those travels that might have had some sort of influence on where you are right now in your journey. So I'm very curious to know exactly how you got interested in this space.
Well, I got interested in energy healing and sound, well, basically in early 2000. I was like, I don't know, it was like an epiphany. I woke up one day and I felt like there was something that I should be doing that I'm not. And so I was just started looking and I came across this ad in the paper and this gentleman was doing aura pictures. It just interested me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go get my aura picture taken. And he did. And he gave me about a book to read of all these different things that came up. And the first thing he said, he was like, wow, he's like, you should definitely learn energy healing, Reiki. And I never heard about Reiki before. So then I left there and I went online and I started looking for teachers. And I just started diving in everything I could. I worked on getting my certification in Reiki. I'm a Reiki master teacher. Then I got into crystals. That interested me a lot. And then tuning forks came around with sound. I learned from Regina Murphy, rest her soul in peace. And this was early 2000s, so it wasn't something that was really huge yet. Not like it is right now at the moment. It's sound baths are more popular than ever, I would say. It started more in the UK and slowly traveled to us here. But tuning forks and sound have a big key in people's well-being, de-stressing and relaxation, and even in healing. As you know, we are vibration, so everything vibrates. And that's why certain sounds kind of resonate with some people and certain sounds don't resonate with other people. And so I dove in and I got into my sound practice, and I love doing sound baths that I do for the community about twice a month. And I do that on donation basis so that I give the community an opportunity to experience it, because not a lot of people know what sound bath is. Like sound bath, you can go from all your crystal singing bowls to chimes to drums. Then you use tuning forks and gongs, which I love gongs. Yeah. So it's very, and every sound bath is different. Like I say to my clients, every session is different. So I always ask them what it is that they want to work on so that we can customize it just to make it specifically for them. Because sound can put you in an alpha state or theta state, and that's your mind. A lot of people say they travel somewhere or they get into a deeper meditative state. And then your cells of your body cells respond to sound as well. Tuning forks, you can use tuning forks that are weighted that you put on the body, and tuning forks that are basically sound. So they give in little messages, if you will, to the brain. Your weighted tuning forks vibrate on certain specific spots that you put them, We work with a lot of meridians and where your lymph nodes are. Basically, what these tuning forks do is they vibrate through your body and they tell your cells to wake up and begin the healing process. And then your sound usually can trigger either releasing trauma or, like I said, getting into a deeper meditative state or helping you sleep. A lot of times when I do these sound baths, I get the feedback from people saying that they had the best sleep ever. So it works in many different ways. Like I've even had people say, I had one gentleman that said that he came for a sound bath. So I did an hour sound bath for him in my office. And when he left, he said that his headache for 5 years had finally gone away. So
No.
you never know.
Wow, that's so interesting. I'm fascinated by this because as soon as you said your meridians, and I thought watersheds, right? So like right here, and then armpits, and then down. And I always seem to skip this one, and I go straight to my armpits, and I wonder if I'm like holding something there. Like it's every time I have this conversation, I immediately put my hands right here.
That's possible. It is
Yeah.
very possible. Yeah, we tend to hold a lot of past traumas or anything that could happen to you in your childhood that you might hang on to that you don't think it really bothered you, but it did. And it shows later on in the body. So
Yeah.
sound helps to give that opportunity for releasing. And sometimes you don't even realize it, but it's, it's the best thing for you. It's, I like it because to me, it's gentle and it's resonant with the person. So.
Yeah, it's such a non-invasive technique that I feel like we forgot somewhere along the way. I find it very interesting that it's, your experience with it was like from the UK, because I feel like this is technology and information that we've always known. And somewhere along the lines, we started pushing Western medicine, and we don't have to get into the politics too much of it, but it's so exciting to see it come back. And it's so exciting to see people's perception of it change, because I remember growing up and people that were really heavy into Western medicine almost push it off like it was like, voodoo or
Woo, yeah.
yeah, you're like that. Don't listen to that person. That person's, a total quack or something. But I always found myself gravitating towards people that operated in that space, and I always felt more comfortable around them, more relaxed and more like in my skin. And I was blessed to have, some very powerful individuals in my life that carried that responsibility unapologetically, and thank goodness, because without that, I don't know if I would be the person that I am today. But it's strange to me that we have this like idea that it's not as valuable, or I shouldn't say we do, because we don't anymore. Like you said, like the culture is coming into it and starting to understand it from a different perspective. But it's bizarre to me that we let it go at all, really, because it's just has such a profound effect on people. So when you got started, like investing your time into it, like all the things that you mentioned are all very, like, you could master some of those things very specifically and kind of stick to them, like Reiki or sound bowls, tuning forks. Do you find that once you get involved with one, that it's like a natural progression to kind of move throughout all of those?
Yes,
Options.
I like I said, I teach. So I usually starts, let's say with, for example, like Reiki students that I've had, and then they wanna become master teachers. But in the process to learning that, to getting there, they'll have their level 2, and they'll start. Oh, I want to learn crystals too, or I want to get into tuning forks, or I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's kind of like a journey that once begins, and you kind of get derived on different things. Like I said, for me, crystals called me, and then tuning forks and sound was just, that's where my heart came in. And I was just like, I need to learn as much as possible. And you learn, you do have a bit of a background music in music that helps. And then you learn how to deal with the different frequencies and vibrations. And even like from the instrument to the place that you're playing has everything to do with the sound bath. That's why, like I said, in the UK, they're so popular now that they're actually even doing sound baths in churches.
Wow.
Because of a church has that amazing like sound in it. So, And they're taking, all the seats out, and people go in with their mats and their blankets and they lay down, and that's usually what they do for a sound bath. Some people sit. It depends, whichever way makes you more comfortable. But yeah, it's a huge way that you just start doing one thing, and then it's just like a calling. Like you feel like, oh, I want to learn this, and more doors open up, and then you're like, oh, there's this other thing to learn, and you get more into it. So yes, and I'm so happy that it is finally starting to be more common, and you even see people that are doing singing as well. They use their voice and use the bowls and everything. It's more like a chanting, I would call it, and that's kind of like what it used to be back when they talk about in like histories, like in the Gregorian temples. There used to be a lot of chanting, and a lot of these tones that we play were played in there because people used to go to these churches and meditate, basically. And then, yes, like you said, things kind of got a little bit away from all these modalities and these things. Even centeredness, like meditation, is huge now. And my parents weren't really people to meditate, but now it seems like everybody wants to meditate. So
they've they've started incorporating it into like the workplace, right? It's like, oh, okay, now we have this responsibility to our employees and their mental health, so we're going to utilize this thing. And then it's so interesting to me because I remember being so overwhelmed by trying to convince people. I don't know enough about it to be convincing anybody of anything, but I knew how it made me feel. And so I was always like, oh, we got to try this, or what do you guys think of this? Or let's go to this, this place and check this out. And so, yeah, it's wonderful that it's making such a great, a great presence. I'm so interested to know, and I've never been a person to be like, I want to be a master of this, but I'm really curious to know what the experience would be like in different spaces. As you were saying, like people are utilizing churches now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I actually want to be Silvia, so I can go like to different geographical places and practice that and see if like the experience would be different. You're saying like different instruments in different places on your body, and different, like all of those have an effect on the outcome. And so I wonder what that would be like from like a geographical standpoint, if being close.
It would definitely, it changes. And there are people that are doing sound baths now in like the forest. Some people are going to the beaches, which I think that would be something that I would be interested in. You can hear the waves in the background, Granted, it's a place where there's not like a lot of families and dogs running around and barking, but yes. And some people have gone to forests and done sound baths in the middle, the forests and mountains. Granted, I'll give you that you've got to have in mind you have to carry all these instruments.
Right.
When I set up for my community center, it takes me like a 2 hours just to set up. Like I said, because it's a half an hour to pack everything up from home and then take it to the place. It takes about half an hour to pack, set everything up, and then another half an hour. So it's like 2 hours of just setting up and breaking down. So you have to be mindful of that. And then your outdoor situations as well. You want to make sure you have all these factors, wind, rain, snow. So there's a lot of things to have in mind. It's kind of like, I don't know, like being in the hiking in different scenarios, like you need your boots, or you need your rain gear. So, but the sounds do carry in a different ways. Let's say an auditorium would be different because of, the sound would bounce more, would resonate more. Let's say a gong would sound very different. Let's say in my office, when people come here for a session, they find it's deeper because it's a closed space, as opposed to like when I do the sound baths for the community, that it's pretty big room, and there's about 30 to 40 people that usually come. So, it can get drowned out because of the amount of people. So the person in the back corner will hear something totally different than the person that's, let's say, close up to the bowls and the gong, because you'll feel the vibration. That's mainly what it's all about too. It's the vibration, but to each their own. Like I say, just use the sound as you wish, and let's hope that everybody has a great time. Because in a setting like that, there's so many different people. You can't really like set the tone. Okay, today we're going to work on this specifically. So it's just, you got to let them do their thing.
Yeah, what a service to the community. I mean, most of those people probably go into that not even understanding what they're about to experience, right? But you're like, it's almost like a mass cleanse. Like, come in here and just let's just help all of these people in such that, yeah.
Yes, it's really rewarding just to, just to hear their feedback, and to see a lot of them leave, and they're just like, thank you, like they never knew exactly what was going to happen, but once they experienced it, they were like, and I always start with a little bit of a guided meditation, with breath work, just to relax the body in case people are a little, apprehensive about it. And then I usually just say, just use the sounds as you wish, and and enjoy it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's amazing how it is bringing people together, and more people want to learn. And I noticed that a lot of young people are getting more into it. I think Amazon's singing bowls sales must be skyrocketing, because I've known a lot of people that, "Oh, I'm going to get my set from Amazon, this and that." And I'm not going to knock it down because it's Amazon or whatever, but it is, you can start with what you start with, but eventually, it's something that is always and forever changing. Like with me, I'm up to like 10 bowls, and I have
Wow.
a gong on the way. That's, so you keep getting. I have a 25-inch gong right now. I've got a 13-inch gong, and now I want a 36-inch gong. So everything is, you're always, how can I say, adding more instruments and learning more things that you want to incorporate in your sound baths as well. So it's, we're both mutually growing and learning, is the people and you. So
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful. Like this constantly evolving project, and it seems so selfless to me, because it's not just you focusing on what makes you feel good, but to be able to offer it to the community and then to be constantly investing in it is just, it's a very powerful thing. I'm interested to know like what you think, if you had like a perfect setup. Obviously there's no such thing, but if you could lay out a space, say like a communal space, like what would that look like to you?
oh, I would love to be in like just a circular building, like if I could find something like that, that would be amazing. Just because of the way the sound would bounce off of the walls, being in just like I don't know, like a big round space. And the instruments, I just resonate a lot with gongs, so I would definitely have more gongs. And the bowls are amazing too, chimes. And I also do tuning forks when I do group events as well. I'll do a few tuning forks that I use. They're called the angel tuning forks, which are good for clearing your biofield, which is your aura,
Mhm.
which is the energy that goes out about 3 to 4 meters around and above and below your feet. And sometimes that gets a little gunked up with, your phones, your computers, and just day to day life. So that's why sometimes we feel a little heavy and so forth. And those usually help to clear people. So I'll go around the room and, play those around your body. And they're more very high pitched sound. But they work. It's just amazing. Like the lady that I learned from, my teacher, she taught when I was learning sound. She did Carillion photography, so we would see the actual effects of the sound. Like you can, with the pictures, you could see like the lights that are in the vibration that's coming out of the tuning fork going into the person. And that was a really great experience to realize that, this isn't something that I'm imagining. It's actually, this is what's happening. So yes, she did amazing things. And I mean, there was a sound mattress as well that she had. It was made of amethyst crystals.
Yeah.
And then you would put on these headphones and just, feel the vibration through the bed of the sound that you were listening to. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's not just doing sound baths. There are a lot of sound bath practitioners that are also doing recordings for people to get in a higher meditative state as well, and that works very good too. I like, one of my favorite artists is Stephen Halpern, and he's got a lot of CDs with music and singing and bowls and just different. It's puts you in a very, very deep state, which is really nice.
Yeah, explain that to me a little bit. So when we're talking about like a meditative state, just for the people aren't that don't understand what that would feel like how would you describe that feeling?
Well, a meditative state is, well, it takes a bit to relax, right? So you want to breathe in, you set yourself in a space where you're just, there's nothing going to bother you. I always like to say, you can either get rid of your electronics, or you can even use music if you have a busy mind, some kind of a meditative sound, because sometimes, your mind just won't shut off. So sometimes the music will help you just drift away because you'll keep concentrating on the sound. And you get into this state. It's almost like when you're about to fall asleep, and some people even also nod off at the beginning, and it's like you can't wake yourself up again. And you're like, okay, I got to stay here sitting and not fall. But it's almost like a state that your brain goes into. They call it like theta waves, that you can either use that time to, let's say, reprogram yourself, your brain on something that you'd like to accomplish or a fear that you'd like to get rid of, or you can just intuitively just stay in that state, and it's almost like you can lose time sometimes in a meditative state. So I definitely recommend meditation and everybody. We should all definitely learn how to meditate in schools. I do believe some schools are integrating that right now, because it's a practice that the longer you do it and the younger you are, the easier it is, of course. And it just really helps keep us grounded and keep us balanced, and help us deal with a lot of the stresses that we have. Because nowadays with technology and everything, there's just so much coming at you at once. Sometimes you can feel overwhelmed, and I think that a little, 5 minute, even if you just go for a hike or something and sit on a rock and just breathe in and just be quiet. It really helps a lot, especially with stress and many other things. And they're finding anxiety. Meditation really does help with anxiety. If people get into training themselves, when you get those trigger moments, to just find a place a safe place that you can just do breathing and just relax and get yourself in that meditative state and just get centered and know that you're safe and that you are okay. Just to help you navigate that. So
It's interesting as you're talking. I'm like, to teach this in schools, grade 10 CAP class, we learn sex ed, we learn this, we learn that, we learn meditation, we learn how to sit with ourselves, would be the right place to start, I think, when it comes to community service and addictions.
yes.
Right? It's like, what is the solution? And I hear this conversation all the time, especially in this space. And it's like, what do we do? What do we do? How do we fix this? How do we fix that? And it's like, if we could teach our children how to sit in their discomfort and know that it's okay, and that they don't need to have these massive self-medicating things or this like debt to themselves about coping. And it's like, if they would just be able to sit there with themselves long enough to walk themselves through it, I would hang my hat on that being more of a solution than anything else.
Oh, definitely, especially getting away from self-medicating and then you grow older, and that's a lot of addiction comes from that. Or even alcoholism is, the Friday, hey, it's Friday, everybody, let's drink. And if instead of doing that, you, let's say, went to a sound bath or did something for yourself. And I think that, yes, the society would be totally in a way better place, much better place than what we are right now. And things are just keep going gradually, more and more to deal with, especially with how the world is accelerating at this point too. So definitely needed.
What a neat world it would be if everyone invested in themselves in sound baths as they do on like a Friday night out partying. Like the same way that they get themselves ready to go out. I'm going to go do this. We're going to get ready. Friends come over, yada, yada, yada. We're going to buy like a Tuesday, all that. If they invested that much energy and that much attention and conversation into going into investing in like a beautiful, healer like yourself, could you imagine what, and I don't want to like daydream too much, but yeah.
Yes. Oh, I know. I know. It would be so much nicer. I mean, and even like there's things, I used to host Reiki shares, and you know, and that would give the opportunity for people like myself and local Reiki practitioners to come, and people would come, and that was just by donation to help offset the, you know, the room rental. And they would receive Reiki for an hour from everybody. And I always told the practitioner, bring your business card. If somebody likes your energy, you know, they can go, they can call you and book, you know, a session with you. And that seemed to start off really good, but then it kind of like fell through. And so I stopped doing that. And we would joke about it because we'd be like, well, if we would have put on the ad, hey, there's a kegger, it would have been packed. Everybody would have been there.
It's so true. It's so true. It's hard to convince people that that's the space that they're supposed to be in. I find it all the time, even with like, you know, we're not specific to anything, but you put mental health on the end of anything, and people are like, nah, you know what? We're good. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
so
never
true.
mind, guys. Yeah, it's wild. And but they'll invest all this money into all these other things. And I'm like, well, if we would just take the time to really look at like what we need. I'm proactive right now. I'm proactive with the kids in my neighborhood. I'm proactive with my own kids. I'm proactive with my neighbors. Like, I'm over being polite about it. I'm over being courteous. I'm just like, this is what's happening. Like, this is what's going on. I'm unapologetic and just yelling it from the streets at this point, because I don't want to, you know, there's no fear mongering here, but at the same time, I'm just like, what do we need to like wake everybody back up again, and like wake the spirit back up again, and everybody charged up and excited about living again, right? Because we have all these disorders, and we have all these things, that afflictions that people are living with, and I understand that obviously with technology, those numbers will always rise just because now we're more aware of it. But I feel like the conversations that I'm having, even in my own personal life, have just multiplied. You know, you used to have one or two people who suffered or struggled, and they were very much kind of held up by the rest of the family. And now it's like everybody's like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm stressed out. The kids joke, they use like suicide ideation as like casual slang. I'm just like, holy shit, like this is this is real life.
It is, yes, and more. And I think like you know, people, we've always been dealing with it. It's just that not everybody's actually admitted it, and now it's, you know, now they're realizing this is a problem. I could use, you know, and mental health has been always put on the back burner. I mean, and it seems like even, you know, the resources seem to get slimmer and slimmer. So it's something that we have to take our own hands and work at it. And, you know, and anything that we have to work at that's it's going to take, let's say homework, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to do it.
Nope.
They want a quick fix. You know, it's like, can't you just prescribe me something, or, you know, I'll just go out and have a few drinks and I'll feel better later.
Yeah.
But yes, it's unfortunate,
but to show, I guess I don't want to say like you're a steward of your community, but it feels that way, especially when I talk to people like yourself, where I'm like, you know, often the conversation is like, we're going out to the community, we've offered it by donation, we welcome people into this space. Like, I hear the same sort of language all the time. I'm just like, bless you, because, you know, I guess we have to be that aggressive. But it's such a, I guess it's such a, my point is, what I'm trying to say is that it's such a beautiful thing, because then the trickle effect starts to happen, right? You have one or two situations that go really well, and even if one person of that then brings a conversation home, and especially when it comes to like, you know, the island, the conversation gets a little bit easier because it's so beautiful and there's all these natural spaces. So to introduce something like Reiki or sound bowls, I think would be a little bit easier than maybe like central Alberta, you know. But anyways, my point being is that there's like this domino effect, and you can almost see when somebody is like active in their community, who is like actively doing these things in the community, because you can kind of see like a little bit of like a, well, I guess that would be like, it would be their auras. It's not something I know a ton about, but that shift in energy, right? I guess, is that what that would be? Like your...
yes, I think it's almost like, well, when I started doing this, I just kept thinking, you know, I need to do sound, because I don't think anybody knows what a sound bath is. And I thought, you know, the best way to do this is by donation. and then we'll see how it happens. And I was surprised. I had 20 people show up the first time,
Wow.
and word of mouth, like you said, and more it's going out there, and it's not always the same crowd. It's different people. I've had mothers with kids. I don't really particularly, because the kids can't really stay still for too long, so they're good for like a half an hour sound bath, but an hour sound bath they start. So I worry about them interrupting other people's peace, right?
Of
So
course. Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
always try to push for the adults to come, but it's more and more it does get out there. And even if people just do it once, um, and some people I've had like a following of clientele afterwards. So like later on, I'll have a call a week or two later, and somebody will be like, "I want to do a private session." It's like, okay, great. But and then they said, I never knew what this was until I went to one of your sound baths,
Wow.
and then that resonated with them, which is great. And I was kind of hoping for the Reiki shares to do that, but there's such a myth with Reiki. Like
Oh,
some
yeah.
some people still believe that it's evil, and
Yes.
and since they can't see it and it's not, they can't hear it. That's what the difference is with the sound. That the sound they can actually hear it, but with Reiki you can't see. I mean, you can feel something, heat or what have you, but
Hmm.
they tend to like think that's more woo than a sound bath, I would say, or the tuning forks.
Absolutely. But what's so wild is that those ones again, it's not that I know much about it, but it's like those ones that go in and have a Reiki experience, I'm like that they seem to have like the biggest turnaround. So even if you can't convince the masses, I feel like the people that are willing to take the experience have a profound experience. They're like
Yes.
that was amazing. Like I remember my first Reiki experience because I was a skeptic. I'm I'm very blue collar in the sense that like I like things to be very tangible and in a space and understood, and I'm very spiritual, but even that comes with strings attached, and like, so I was like, okay, all my sisters are into this thing called Reiki, and I really had no idea what they were talking about. And even though they talked about it a lot, they still didn't seem to be any less stressed out. And so I was just like, I don't know, guys, like, and then it was like something was like let go. Like it was like the brain that had split in this moment of trauma started like mending itself back together again in a real way. Like I could explain like every piece of fiber that went back together again. I could tell you exactly what it felt like, like a lot, like the warmth in my hands and like leaving my hip and like all the things, and it's just like, okay, maybe there is something to this experience. And even if it's just a platonic, even if it is placebo, like even if it is just me believing that this is happening or them believing that this is happening, I think that even in itself is such a powerful thing to happen, because it was enough to convince me to go back again and again and again, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, that's great. Well, the main thing is also with that is because it is you taking care of yourself. Like with Reiki, I always tell people I don't like to use the word healer. I'm not a healer.
Mm,
I'm just a conduit. So basically, what the person does, the practitioner, they get into this mental state, and energy starts funneling through them, and it's basically given to the person that's laying on the table receiving. And I always say it's up to the person to heal themselves. So, like, if you don't want to heal yourself, I can do as much as I want, but it's up to you to do the work. And you don't even consciously know that you're doing the work, but you're by allowing it to happen. That's why people find that oh yeah, this helped with this pain and it helped with that pain. It's like, well, because you took the advantage of that and you basically used it for releasing or whatever it is that you needed to do to feel better. But yes, and Reiki helps immensely, like especially people going through chemotherapy and situations like that.
yeah.
I went through that experience, unfortunately, but
Sorry
I
to hear
shouldn't
that.
say that. It was a good learning experience, I should say, because there's always a silver lining after.
Mhm.
But I definitely recommend it for people. I was volunteering at hospice here in Campbell River for about a year and a half, and
Wow.
it's a beautiful thing, and it brings them calm. And I used to see them, you see the difference of them coming in, they looked like they were like in their pajamas and not feeling too good till like, weeks later from coming once a week. And even just once a week for 1 hour, the change in them and how they were like, oh yeah, I had chemo today, but they're feeling a lot better. It's something that, I think we should have it in the hospitals to offer, or even for people that are end of life. I've done that a few sessions where people were, at their last stages, and they called me privately, and I went into the hospital to do a session for them. But I feel like, why don't we have it in hospitals? Why don't you have a couple of Reiki people in there ready to offer these services? It would be so much helpful for everybody, anybody going through any kind of treatment, or if they're in palliative care. It would be so nice, just to see it regularly there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bizarre that it's not a standard. It's sad that we've lost that knowledge somewhere along the way, and now we have this responsibility, like this duty to the information. Like, these are spaces where it would make such a massive impact on somebody's life. It would, and the people near them too. The people near
Yes.
them grieving, because we often forget about them. Like, it's like, yeah, the person in palliative care, of course, they're coming to. They have their own struggle, but what about the people that are near them that have no idea how to navigate all of these new things that they have no choice but to experience, right? And those to have, yeah, I
Yeah. Yes,
absolutely,
definitely.
I agree. I think it should absolutely be a piece of all of that. I mean, while giving birth, I would have loved, I would have
Yeah.
loved somebody to come and help me navigate that process.
Yes.
It's like, and maybe we would get away from like laying on our backs a little bit and start getting back into like a squatting position if we had like the proper, women around us to support us in this like very natural, organic thing that happens. I don't know why we just feel the need to clean everything up and sanitize it and put it in a box and call it, like, stamp of approval. Okay, it's good. It's like, there's got to
Yes.
be another way to do these things. There has to be, there has to be.
Yes. Definitely. And it would be great to see, because we're in between an old world and a new world. So I
Mhm.
definitely think that the new world will definitely have these things, because it's getting more and more known and true. The families that are grieving, they definitely need help too, because it's, the person in palliative care is usually going to hang on as much as they can because of the people that they're leaving behind, and they're worried about them. So wouldn't that be nice if, you could give them a session too, and just help them relax and realize, or sometimes somebody just needs a really good cry, and just to let it out. I've had that too. I've had people come in, sit on my table, and it's probably the first time that somebody's paid attention to them, and they just start crying. And it's people have different ways of dealing with different things, so not everybody's the same, and everybody just needs a little bit of love and understanding and patience. That's all it takes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if we could all do that for each other a little bit more, hey, what a place that would be. It's funny, when I started this project, it was like, how do we acknowledge grief, and how do we help people navigate grief, and like all these things? How do we talk about this really big conversation around mental health, because I was pretty convinced that everything stemmed around grief, and I'm not convinced. It was just at the very beginning of this, I was like, this is where it sits. And like, if we could just be a little bit more considerate of each other, that,
True.
it would just be one of those other things, right? I mean, and just not to be disrespectful, but there's a lot of people in the comments right now that all know exactly what you're talking about, and how massive to have somebody there who wasn't a family member, who wasn't a friend, but still, held a little bit of responsibility in that space. Like, how that would change some of the things that they're navigating now. I mean, Felice said he's currently in the hospital. And so just to have that like third party person who kind of, I don't, facilitate may be the wrong word. I keep going back to navigate, but just allow people to move through these things, right? Because we're unaware of how to do that on our own. That's what society has convinced us of. We're not capable of these things by ourselves. And although I'm sure we would be, I do think that having somebody who is a conduit and who is aware of how these energies work, I think it would just be the utmost appropriate to be in those places.
Oh yes, for sure, definitely. And I mean, for the whole family. I mean, from children going through grief, the loss of a mother or a father, and
Mhm.
or a sibling. There's just so
Yeah.
much. It would be great to have it in schools. I mean, just to help these kids nowadays with certain problems that we have, learning how to respect and love one another instead of being how kids can be.
Yeah.
But yes, and it does take a little bit because we're always so busy in our own lives that we forget that, maybe the person next to you is having a bad day. So, like I say, you know what, everybody's allowed to have a bad day. So it's, you see it at the grocery store sometimes, and you notice, sometimes, let's say somebody can't find their, credit card or whatever, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's it going to take?" And it's just like, just relax, and you don't know
Yeah.
what this person is going there, but
Chill out.
and just feel that we've kind of forgotten about, treating each other like our fellow human instead of,
Mhm.
oh my God, when are you going to get out of my way? Or, driving, hey, what is this guy doing? It's kind of funny how, like, we've, instead of being more conscientious and caring towards one another, we're more impatient and it's kind of like, get out of my way.
It's very true, the more comfortable I got in my own skin and the more aware I was of my day, the more I noticed that I flirt with everybody. I flirt with old people, I flirt with young people, I just, like, I got all the time in the world, take your time, go in front of me, you only got a couple of items, let me get the door, like, I seem to find all this extra time in a day because really, like, if I'm going grocery shopping, I wanna enjoy that experience, or if I'm going to the mailbox, I wanna enjoy the experience. I don't wanna anticipate the experience all day long and then do the thing and then be done with the thing and then move on to the next thing. I want to enjoy my day and all of its little beautiful pieces. And so as soon as I started, like, really being aware of what it was I was supposed to be doing in my skin, the more time I seem to find all over the place, I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it when we start looking at one another, and knowing that, you're just another extension of me, having a life experience. So let's just be nice to each other,
Yeah.
and help each other out. Yes, and it's nice to see. I'm seeing more kids that are more conscientious. It's like the new generation, kids that are like 7, 8 years old, and I notice, like, and I feel like, wow, they're like nicer than we were when we were kids,
So true.
It's
That's
like,
so true.
yeah, we're like learning from them. I just said this new generation of kids, granted you have your two sides of each, your yin and your yang, but I'm seeing a lot of kids that are, really good, down to earth, and they're just very caring and loving, which is a beautiful thing to see. That's why I do love the idea of them having meditation in school, and
Mhm.
if they learned meditation, yoga, or qigong, or one of these, it just, at a young age, to learn that, it helps you deal with so much in your life as an adult, and I think that we really need to realize how important that would be, and how important that is for the society coming, and the next round of world, if you may.
I learned something very interesting in class the other day, which was that statistically, the youth and the young adults are actually spending more time at home with their peers than they do outside with their peers. And I know at the beginning we joked about, if people invested in themselves as much as they do on a night out, but it's actually, like, shifting to that people are actually staying in and playing cards and, like, being more neighborly, maybe closer to what the 90s looked like, the 80s look like, opposed to, like, the 2000s where everyone needed to be outside and in the clubs and doing this and doing that. It seems like we're actually kind of making a shift back. They do actually spend a lot less money on alcohol. Now that could also be a huge spike in other drugs. So I don't want to, like,
Yeah.
put too much stock into that. But I did find that interesting. And so obviously my argument was like, well, okay, but all these kids are, like, at home in their parents' basement and they're on these screens and they're not leaving, they're not being social. Um, but but then my instructor came back with the argument that that may be true, but they're not out, committing crimes and hurting each other and this and that and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's such a weird way to think about it. And I guess if we could teach the kids how to facilitate this like way of being, right, this very comfortable way of being in their own skin, and then kind of like jump on the back of the fact that they're not out there like causing chaos, like I think we stand a pretty good chance at this point, right? Like go to your grandma's closet and get all the weird shit out of there, right? Like dig
True.
into the boxes and pull out the things and like learn what they are, because I think we have a chance with these kids. And not to throw away my generation, because there's a lot of amazing people doing a lot of amazing things, but I think we were just starting to figure out how to communicate properly, right? We were just starting to figure out how to even have these conversations and do it, unapologetically. And so, yeah, it's really interesting, being a parent and watching it happen. I'm like, oh, did the chain break? The chain is broke. You're like, this is amazing. These kids are actually like really cool. Yeah.
Yes, it is true. Yes, especially a lot of the like teenagers, and I noticed them, even like nephews and nieces, and their parents like to enjoy a glass of wine and a beer here and there, especially for family outings. And the kids now they're like 18, 17. They just don't want to drink. Don't like it, and that's it. And then I'm noticing like more family members that are like, okay, well, we're not going to drink either. So it's like it's a totally different generation now, and nobody wants to drink anymore.
That's exactly what happened in my household, actually. That exact thing. Like, not that anybody is out here drinking like heavily, as we don't. Like, there's, barbecue a couple times in the summer, whatever, like whatever. But I was like, we're the only people sitting here having a glass of wine. Like, is it really that necessary? Like, maybe it's not that necessary. Like, what,
True.
we have adult children. It's not like my kids are like, well, some of them are younger, but most of them are like 19, 20, 21, right? And so it's just like, maybe we don't need to have this drink. Like, we sit here socially. And because we hang out with our kids so much, like in a social setting, it's just kind of fallen at the wayside now. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I've watched that happen over the last little while in my household, and we laugh about it all the time. We're like, oh, it's so funny. Like, because it used to be like, oh, the kids are coming, okay, we'll grab grab a couple bottles of wine and we'll make sure that we put them out with dinner. And it was never a bad thing, but it's just not part of it anymore.
No, it is changing. Yes, a new generation. So, and that's why it's great that everything is coming. It's so much in your face now, with the different modalities. I mean, you got so much breath work, meditation, all these kinds of things that are coming out. And I think that those kids, once they're growing up, they'll be more apt to like, oh, I'm going, where are you going? I'm going for my session, or I'm going for my sound bath, or, I have a tuning fork thing going to, and more like, instead of keeping things from people, because I notice my clients are always confidential, but I almost feel like I'm this bad secret that they have. That they come in and see me once in a while and nobody knows, and it's like, it's okay, I don't have to, like if we run into each other in the store, we don't have to say hi to each other. We don't have to explain who I am.
Oh, sneaking off for a session. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That's actually so funny. What? That's interesting. So, okay. So is there certain frequencies then that aligned with certain things to heal? I've heard rumors and stories that, there's the love frequency, I think is like 720 or something like that. Like, is there any truth to any of that?
Well, it comes from a long time ago. They call it the solfeggio frequencies, which are your 9 healing frequencies, and those were the ones that used to be chanted in Gregorian temples back in the day. And yeah, there is. They call it the God frequency, which is 963 hertz. Yeah. Then you have the 852, which is supposed to be for your like third eye opening. Then you've got 741 is for the throat, and that usually like helps. And these are all like related to your chakras too. So then like your 639 is your heart. 528 is actually the miracle frequency, and that is related to your solar plexus. And then you've got the 417 and the 174.
Wow.
Yeah, so there is quite a bit. And then kind of like your bowls, your singing bowls. So there's the the musical scale was changed to 440 hertz from 432.
Mhm.
So there's singing bowls that are tuned to the 440, and then you have like your A's, your B's, your F's, and those are your chakra notes. But then you have the 432 hertz. Personally, from all the like research that I have done, so the 440 is a little bit more damaging to your DNA. That's why like all the music that you hear sometimes it's like rock and roll or you know rap. Some rap songs and stuff can be a little irritating,
Yep.
and they do promote you know. Disease for the person. So I don't know if it's done on purpose, but yeah, they do. So I like to stick to the 432 hertz. You also have like what they like, especially in rap, they call it the 808, which is a lick that they do with the bass drum, and that is really irritating to our cells. So we may not realize it, but in a way, sometimes the music that you're listening to has an effect on your mood
Mhm.
and the way you're feeling. So it can bring you into a stressed mode, or you can listen to something that will de-stress you, like classical music. Classical music can be really calming and soothing, but there is also classical music out there that is a little annoying. So your body and like I say, is follow your instincts, because you and yourself will feel, if you feel something is not right, then I would turn it off and listen to something else, because there is there is a lot of truth to be said in that. Even like Sade,
Mhm.
she did music, her music, you can find it on YouTube, and she's got it with the 440 and she's got the 432, and her same song, and it sounds totally different. And
Yeah.
then even like John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix, they would tune their instruments to 432. So there's, even the musicians know about this. So
Erica
it's,
Badu is another one, Outkast is another one, Tupac is another one. There's a lot, and you can
yes,
tell because they're always the artists that have stood the test of time, right? It's like they've made it all the way through, and it seems to be I'm like, "Oh, I know. I bet they know. I bet they know
yes.
for sure," right? Yeah.
Yes, and you listen to their music, and it's kind of soothing. It's not that,
Mhm.
but I have heard some music that is like, oh no, I got to turn that off. I can't hear that. So, and that goes to it. It's either you can be in a state of like relaxation or even uplifting, like dance music that's really resonant and good, and then there's other dance music that's not so much. And
Yeah.
you get people violent, and then
Yeah.
crazy stuff starts happening. But
Mhm.
yeah.
It's so interesting. I think that musicians are like like these massive orchestras, like for just people in general. We put on festivals, once in the year. I see other people doing it and other people doing it, and I'm like, oh, you guys are responsible for a lot of people, and you have this responsibility to like be able to keep everybody safe. And I think the way that they do it, the way that they go about the sound, has a massive part of it.
Oh, it
Massive part
does.
of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. That's also with intention as well, right? So,
Mhm.
yes. And also their words, like a lot of the songs, different wording, and like something's going to make you either be happy or something's going to make you just want to go start a fight with everybody. So it's yeah.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated though by the ones that you think are one thing and they're actually another. Like I've heard like so some metal music, not all obviously. It's not fair to like lump everybody into one thing, but there is like some metal music that like promote I think, and I don't know if it's 432. I don't know if you could make metal music in that frequency or if there is any.
Mm.
But there is apparently that there's some that's quite stress relieving. And then on the flip side of it, that there is like some music that you would think that would be very relaxing that is in the wrong frequency and can be quite irritating. And I always found that so fascinating because usually when people are into a genre, they're like, this is it. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to be stuck in this and that. But as I've gotten older, I've noticed, like even with myself, that I tend to follow my ear a little bit more than the genre itself. Like I'm not stuck into hip hop and reggae anymore. I'm like willing
Exactly.
to move throughout other genres. Actually, classical is something that I listen to quite often, a lot in on the way to basketball practice with my kid. And most of the time, I don't think he even notices that it's happening because it'll start with his music and then it'll kind of just shift over, right? We have the same Spotify or whatever, and it'll just go on for so long that it's like, oh, back over to my stuff, and it'll be like 45 minutes, and he's like, "Oh, mom," I'm like, "Oh, sorry, sorry."
It's like the sneaky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And everybody, like I said, different talents resonate with different people differently. So it all depends on what, feels good to you. Like if something definitely is feeling irritating, then I would definitely find something. But in every different genre, you can find the same thing. I mean, I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. I like anything from classical even to like I could even get into like Middle Eastern belly dancing music and
Oh wow, yeah.
dance music, and I've loved rap. There's some good, really great rap, and
Mhm.
R&B and jazz and you name it, and I'll listen to it. Even Latin music, and everybody's different. So, and even one artist can make certain songs that are really good, and then other songs like, oh no, I don't like that one.
Yeah.
So it all depends.
Well, and we have the privilege too of like I find it fascinating when different artists have done the same song, right? Maybe that's like one of the most obvious examples of like what it sounds like to us, and like who, like, would you listen to that their version over the other person's version? And we live in a land of that now with YouTube. It's like opened up a world to music that I would never have even thought to listen to,
Oh yes, I
pre
know.
YouTube.
It is, and everybody doing everybody's music, or even taking the music and changing the words.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very popular. I know sometimes I'm even thinking like, oh my gosh, like has the imagination gone away? Like I keep hearing like redos and like movies. It's like we're doing this movie again, like
How many times can we do? But maybe there is something to that too. I mean, maybe there is something, a block, and not to be like too conspiracy theorist, but like it- there was kind of like a massive block that was happening, like, whether it was like political or blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden we kind of got caught in like this repetitive thing. Like we're on like the seventh, eighth of every freaking movie right now.
oh,
And, and it's like, wait, but I feel like we're kind of breaking out of that a little bit. And then you start seeing some independent projects coming back, and people even like pushing independent projects as a thing. It's like, okay, maybe we are like, maybe there is something to like where we are as a society, into like what can be brought down. I talk to artists and they're like, oh, with my antenna I kind of tap in and then bring that information down, and I hear that a lot in on this show. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe the river is drying up. Like maybe whatever is going on up there is like, no, these people don't deserve this information. They're going to have to prove themselves a little bit. And again, I don't want to be too conspiracy thing, but I feel like maybe, I don't know. Does that sound totally off the wall? But
no, it's
like,
true.
it's,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I'm like, maybe I'm making not sense here, but
It's almost like we're going around in a circle from like the past
yeah.
is coming back. It's kind of like fashion, like, oh, the
Mhm.
70s are back, bell bottoms, and we went
Yeah.
through our stages, and it feels like that with music. Like kind of like movies. Like remember, like in the what was it, like late 90s, everything was about the end of the world, the end of the world, and
Right.
now movies have changed, and now it's all about the action figures, and it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh
So
God,
it's
the action figures. We're stuck in it right now.
I know. No, I don't think I've gone to the movie theater in I don't know how long.
Borat was the last movie that I seen in the theater, and I don't I don't apologize for that. I support local. The Tide Mark actually is a place that I think that everybody should go and watch all the indie films, and participate in that experience. But as for anything outside of like that, I'm like, no thanks. I do not want to spend $100 on a sitting in a bad chair with people I don't really know. Like I'm good. We can just yeah.
Yes, I know. It's pretty amazing. Like I'm like, they're doing this one again? Like how many
Yeah.
times can you redo this? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, and also,
Right.
like, going back to the YouTube thing, we're in a space right now where we have access to all of this really beautiful, cultural stuff. So to be stuck in a movie theater, I find that really challenging, right? Like, I have access to learn what tribes are doing on the other side of the world, that the sounds that they're making, and the storytelling that's happening. Like, why am I gonna go into this space that is like so intentionally for entertainment purposes, which again, I advocate for. I think entertainment holds a lot of value, but we have we have every book and everything at our fingertips. Like why? I don't know.
So
I don't
true.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on people that invest in that though. I think entertainment has a value. I think that people that take their kids out and go and spend time with them, I think there's it's so important. But yeah, for me right now in this particular time in my life, I'm like, oh, there's way too much information for me to get my hands on. I can't be bothered with that right now. I just can't.
Yes, and I mean, and YouTube is just amazing. Like, there's so much. And I like to joke around sometimes because, like, my husband doesn't know how to do something. I'm like, go to the school of YouTube. It'll show you how to do it. Yeah. If a fridge broke down or anything, like, just go to the school of YouTube. You'll find something. It'll tell you how to fix it. And
No,
it's true. You can find anything on YouTube. It's an amazing tool. And you can learn so much. It's just amazing. My niece was glued to it a little too much, and that's where we were going back to, like, the screen time. Like, the kids they're not playing outside or anything, but they're just like stuck on learning all these different things. But that's it's another way.
yeah. Well, we have too many chores to be done outside. Like the girls we all have horses and stuff. So there's not as much as I know. Like the boys, I guess a little bit, but they still have to go, like my son has basketball and stuff. So I think screens are important when it comes to, like, if everything else is kind of dried up, right? The cards,
Yes,
cooking, all the things, sure, go for it. Like you want to go and like chill out, go for it. But yeah, too much is too much of anything, really.
true. Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. Everything in moderation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Mhm.
funny because there's some things that I appreciate technology so much for, and I'm like, oh, I just love to be able to do all this. And then there's moments of, especially in parenting, when I'm like, I wish we could go back. I wish my kid understood what it meant to, like, have to use an encyclopedia. I wish they knew what it meant to, like,
Oh,
have to use a thesaurus. Like
yes.
mhm.
Yes, instead of just, hey, hey Siri.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I need 6
Even
adjectives that go with this, like, "Write me these bars." Yeah, it's wild, it's wild. I think that piece might get lost a little bit of, writing itself. Well, it has.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the reading a book.
Mhm.
I mean, we have all these, like, free libraries around town, and I hardly ever see any kids. I've seen adults go and get a book out of it, but I never see a child getting one. And that's sad because there's something to be said about sitting in a comfortable position and reading a nice book. Yeah, it could do wonders for you, and it's really good for the mind. Especially even older people, to keep reading, to keep your mind busy and working. Yeah.
You don't have to convince me of that. I did my first business plan on a bookstore. It's called the Leatherbound Bookstore, and I still might open it one day. Yeah, I still think that I probably should. The difference though is that to me, a library is like a sacred place, you know?
Mhm.
And I
True.
feel like that unfortunately has gotten lost a little bit. And I don't know how I'd be able to bring that feeling back without excluding people. And I don't want to do that, but at the same time, like I want people to come in and worship themselves in that time and give themselves that moment and not utilize it as a safe injection site, I guess, basically, because the libraries don't look the same anymore, unfortunately.
No, they don't. Definitely don't.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Well,
what do you do about that? You can't, I don't know. Because I'm like, kick everybody out of those spaces and put them into somewhere that's more comfortable where they can go and meditate and get their shit together? They
yeah,
don't they don't belong there next to the kids. That doesn't work for me, but that's just my opinion. So who knows?
that's true.
Yeah.
Very much. Yes.
Mm. Yeah. But a good book, I think, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and being able to go, like, back in the days, you'd go to, like, Barnes and Noble, you can get yourself a coffee or hot chocolate, and they have sofas there, and you can just read a book there. And
Yeah.
yeah, I used to love doing that. I could go into those bookstores and spend a couple of hours, and then just and we had computers back then too, so I would
Mhm.
spend time on the computer and, like, oh wow, it's an amazing thing that you can do so much research on it, and learn so much to it. But also, I still maintained that part of my of life, to actually read a book, and that reading a book, like, helps you so much with your imagination and everything else. It's so good for the brain. It's just it's something that I really hope it doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
Then somebody will 20 years from now, a kid will be like, "What's this?" That would
But
be
like
awful.
that actually like breaks my heart. Like it actually hurts my feelings so bad because there's just such joy. And you know what? Maybe another conversation is literacy too. Like, is that our duty to teach our kids, to hold that space for them as well? Like, is literacy important? I think so. I think that there's
Yes.
absolutely something to be said for that conversation, right? Um, and then what happens, because it does kind of go at the wayside with technology. They have all these buttons that say read out loud, or like, all these
Yes.
things.
Kindles and yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even really necessary anymore. We'll be like the old kooks in the back with like all the paper books and like, all the big tall beautiful candles with like the dripping wax, and everyone would be like, oh, those crazy
Oh,
ladies over there
yes. No
they're with
kidding.
their real paper.
So
Oh my
true.
gosh.
So true.
Yeah.
And the smell, the smell
Mhm.
of a library. I always remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah. I
Wonderful.
actually, like, full disclosure, I used to steal books. I probably owe a couple to the high school for sure. Because I used to, like, yeah, I would take them, sign them out, and not bring them back. Like,
Oh,
not because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start building my collection now." It's never how I thought, but I would always just get so involved in books, and then they'd become so personal to me, and then it'd be years later, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I still have this," you know, or for the artwork even, like, there was this one book, which I later figured out was, like, Pandora's Box. The artwork in the book was illustrating Pandora's box, and it was wild because one picture was, like, a boy, and all this beautiful stuff was shooting out of this box, and then the other one was a girl sitting near the same box, but it had bats kinda flying around, and there was, like, cobwebs and stuff, and I just thought that duality was
oh wow.
so beautiful, and I was like, "Of course, the boy gets all the things, and this girl's left with nothing," and I always loved that, the way that it looked. Anyways, I searched for the images, like, years later and found them, and it was this depiction of Pandora's box. Anyways, I used to do that, and now I can't even imagine a kid, like, stealing a book from a library. Like, that's
Oh,
like,
wow.
like, yeah, so funny.
Very true. Yeah, you don't really see children in libraries anymore. It's more
No.
adults, and rarely see people reading because I sometimes pop into the local
Yeah,
library, and they have like about 10 computers, and those computers are always taken. But
yeah.
yeah, you don't really see a lot of people reading books.
Yeah, I mean, the climate around it has changed so much, and I know that we're gonna evolve, and I appreciate that part of it. But it is really hard. I think I'm starting to understand what people were saying when they're like, "Oh, it used to be like this," or, "Back in my day," or whatever. And I'm really feeling that at this time in my life, and I'm like, there is things that I'm just not ready to let go of yet. Like I'm just, yeah,
Yes,
like
true. True. Everything's moving so fast that yes, it is a bit overwhelming sometimes, like how fast things have and are changing, and every day more and more. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Candy in
I
the
mean,
comments says technology is taking over, and
yeah,
it is. I still go into the bank to do my banking, actually.
yeah, no, me too. That's
That's
funny. Yeah, we still write checks, so
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I pulled out cash the other day, and I was like, "I'm just gonna keep this in my wallet for a little bit," and then I can't remember what I went to buy, but, we're always at the, like, little markets and stuff, so it was whatever. So anyways, I had this lady this money, and she was like, "Did you just give me cash?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Do I check it?" I'm like, "What, for, like, if it's fake?" She was like, "Yeah." Like, you can, like, I won't be insulted." And it was just like this, like, super weird exchange, like, didn't even know how to, like, deal with it, right? It was like, "Oh, should I check it? Do I trust that this is real? Like, do you carry this still?" Like, "Oh," she's pulling out, like,
yeah.
her square or cube or whatever. I was like, "Oh, that's so funny."
Oh, I know. And we'll get to the day where it's like, oh, sorry, card only.
Yeah, yeah,
That will be coming soon. You never know. But I mean, I know a few people that they just deal with cash. They don't even like to use cards, so they keep an eye on their spending better that way. So yeah, I don't think cash will ever go. I hope not. Anyway.
Well, and also, like, the heart, like, golds and silvers and stuff. I don't know, some very smart person told me, like, make sure you tuck that away, and, like, if you're not interested in wearing it anymore, melt it down and tuck it away and all those things, and I was just like, "What? Yeah, well, we'll never lose currency or whatever." But it's starting to get to a point where I'm like, might wanna buy a couple of chickens and start stashing my silver, like,
Oh, that would be nice.
Mhm. Right? Doesn't sound lovely. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Well, before we get out of here, first of all, thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. It's really nice to hear your perspective and a little bit about your journey and how you got into some of these very interesting healing things. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure. Yeah. I never quite know what's about to happen, right? Like never quite know, but it was very nice and calming. You have this like power about you to just kind of bring people to right where you are. Cause I don't think that you've moved this entire time. Like you just have just this very, not
Oh, thank you.
commanding, but very like very regal, calm thing. And like it was funny at the very beginning, I was like searching to find the right body posture to like make sure that I was comfortable, right? I was like doing the thing because I'm still a little bit young, right? I haven't quite figured it out yet. And then as I was watching you this whole time, I was just like, oh, okay, all right. I think starting to understand, like, yeah. And maybe you don't do that intentionally, but yeah, it was just a very interesting experience, and I thank you so much for
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Yes.
No, absolutely. Where can everybody find you at? Where are you?
Well, I have a Facebook page, Sylvia's Heavenly Energy, or sylviasheavenlyenergy.com. And
Yes.
then you can find everything about me on the website. It has a bio and everything I have to offer, classes and events.
I'm just going to pop your website up into the comments for everybody to be able to use and enjoy. Sorry, just give me 1 second here.
No problem. That's okay.
Yeah. There we go. There, it's up there for everyone. Yeah, it's super. There it is. I was like, it's coming at any moment now. Usually Calic was in the comments, and I did see her in there earlier. But I wanted to make sure that it's definitely in there for everybody to go ahead and grab. The other thing that I wanted to talk to everyone about before we get out of here is that hashtag 988 is still a North American number, and it is toll free. It is the suicide prevention line, and I will preach it until the day that line goes. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you guys. Please use it. Please share that number around. It's hashtag 988. They're amazing. I called it myself just to see what you guys would be getting on the other line, and they're trained professionals. Don't hesitate to ask your friends if they want to harm themselves or somebody else, or if they want to plan to kill themselves or have plans to kill themselves. Practice saying that statement over and over again out loud, in the mirror, whatever you need to do, because when the time comes and you go to hesitate, I don't want to say you're going to lose an opportunity, but the more you practice it, the comfortable it'll be, right? Direct, straight to their face. Are you going to harm yourself? Are you going to harm somebody else? Do you plan on killing yourself? Do you have a plan to kill yourself? If the answer is yes, then you immediately call that number. You call 911 and you get them the help and support that they need. It's so, so fundamental. We are in a massive crisis right now. And I know that everyone wants to talk about fentanyl, which is another topic, but there is this other silent thing that is happening that has a devastating effect on our community. And I'm noticing it. Blue collar men, especially, the trades are riddled with it, and life is not easy for anybody. But just to take a moment to acknowledge the struggles of what it keeps to keep the backbone of Canada strong and free. And so we just need to support each other and support our men's and support our women and our kids. So hashtag 988 is going to get you guys the resources that you need. The other number that you can absolutely call that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is our Pinecase warm line. 250-289-3948. That's going to put you through to a few of our beautifully trained professionals. We're a warm line, so we're not a crisis line, but we're there. We will talk to you. We will chat with you. We will stay on the phone with you through whatever it is. You just guys let us know what city or town you're in so we can get the resources from your community and put it into the chat. So when you do leave us, you'll have those to take away when you go. Again, that number is 250-289-3948. You think I'd have it down by now. I've been saying it every Tuesday for the last 2 years. My goodness. And you can also find naloxone kits at any pharmacy. So don't be shy about that. You guys ask for them, you take them, take one, take two, take three. It is a little bit colder out right now, so just be aware of not keeping them in the glove compartment of your car, but do put them inside all of your guys' first aid kits. Please carry them on hand. You might need to use one or two or three or four or five of them on one person. You cannot harm somebody who is not on opiates, and you cannot harm somebody. You cannot give them too much. So don't be shy with it. If you feel like you need to give someone another one, make sure you call 911 first and then go ahead and administer the naloxone kits. And the Good Samaritan Act will keep you safe. I do not give a shit if you're in active addiction. Frankly, nobody does. In the sense that if you're trying to save somebody's life, that law is there to make sure that you can call and not have any repercussions. Unfortunately, the numbers are massive, and they don't seem to be getting any smaller. And so from the top of the mountaintops, unapologetically, you guys support each other and reach out. Let us know how we can help you. Let us know how we can get you to where you need to go, because we do care about what's happening in your day-to-day. So 250-289-3948. Go ahead, text, call, whatever you need to do. Those are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Silvia Ross, darling, Campbell River, Reiki, sound bowls, like all the things, gongs, tuning forks, and a beautiful conversation that brought me just like from up here right down into this beautiful crafted space. I appreciate you so much, and your experiences and your information. Thank you for taking the time. Yeah, no, the pleasure and the honor is all of ours. It's nice to know that it doesn't have to be that loud. It doesn't have to be this. It can just be right here.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Before we get out of here, I was hoping to maybe, if there was like a quick breathing exercise that we could do that you could just drop in our little back pockets, maybe show us.
Oh, yes. So we could do the 4-4. So you take, breathe in on the count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you exhale, we're going to exhale on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do another one. Breathe in on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. And what I like to tell people is think about anything that's bothered you throughout the day, throughout the week, and bring it to your throat. And we're going to exhale on the count of 4, and you can sigh if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just let it go. Another breath in on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold. Think about anything that's bothered you, anything that's somebody made you mad, bring it to your throat. We're going to exhale on the count of 4, and if you'd like to sigh, you can sigh it out. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we want to do one more time. Breathe in the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Anything that's bothering you that you'd like to let go. We're going to exhale on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And hold. Wonderful. You can also do a breath of 10, where you breathe in for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale all the air out of your lungs and hold. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And breathe in gently. And exhale normally. And there you go. And when everything else fails, breath work is amazing. There's a lot of people out there that you can look into, a lot of methods of breath work that also helps for one to get centered and calm and help you go about your day, get rid of any stresses that you're going through.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for walking us through those techniques. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. It is absolutely a massive Pinecase appreciation, all the love and blessings in your direction. Yeah. Wow. You guys go and please take advantage of that website that's in there. Thank you, everybody in the comments, for hanging out with us tonight. It is always a pleasure to see everybody chime in and drop their experiences. Don't be shy to drop your sober dates if you got them. That's it for this beautiful Wednesday evening. Without further ado, I guess we will see you all next Tuesday. Thank you so much, Silvia.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Please stay strong. Please stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. Get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins. With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong. I can see. Run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner. We stay strong. I can't breathe. We're gonna get oxygen without the justice system. We stay strong. And I know, gotta keep my head together. We stay strong. Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me. We stay strong. Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.